जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
The mighty Brahmaputra flowing through the northeastern part of the country, especially through the state of Assam, has sustained civilizations across a time span which is quite huge in terms of the canvas that it unfolds. In the process, it is also a living testimony of the unforgettable events in the history that took place on these banks, forever changing its discourse both in its narrative and the content. Standing on the banks of Brahmaputra, we bring to you the saga of the indomitable lion, the greatest general of Assam, Lachit Borphukan.
The year is 2022 and we as a nation are celebrating the 400th birth anniversary of Lachit Borphukan. But who is Lachit Borphukan? Of course, he's the iconic military general of Assam who won a resounding victory against the invading Mughal army and halted an alien imperialist regime from ruling this far eastern part of our great nation India. Yes, we are talking about Ahom Army General Lachit Borphukan and his victory over Aurangzeb's military led by Ram Singh in the historic battle of Saraighat 1671 near Guwahati.
भारत में जब भी कोई मुश्किल दौर आया, कोई चुनौती खड़ी हुई, तो उसका मुकाबला करने के लिए कोई न कोई विभूति अवतरित हुई है। हमारी आध्यात्मिक और सांस्कृतिक पहचान को बचाने के लिए हर कालखंड में संत आए, मनीषी आए, भारत को तलवार के जोर से कुचलने का मंसूबा पाले, आक्रमणकारियों का मां भारती के कोख से जन्मे वीरों ने डटकर मुकाबला किया। लाचित बोरफुकन भी देश के ऐसे ही वीर योद्धा थे और इसलिए तो हम आज भी कहते हैं, हुनी साने लोरा होत। लासी तोरा को था, मुगल विजयी वीर, इतिहास है लिखा।
Now, if Shivaji, Lachit's contemporary, was battling the Mughals in western India, expanded the Maratha Empire, built forts and established a Maratha navy in eastern India, the Borphukan was giving the Mughals a torrid time, eventually leading to their retreat from this part of India. And yes, Lachit Borphukan, we would say, lent steam to the Ahom navy in much the same way as Shivaji built the Maratha navy.
A general tendency among certain people to equate Shivaji and Lachit. You cannot equate the two because Shivaji and Lachit are two different heroes in two different contexts, two different backdrops, two different part of the history altogether. If you look at Shivaji's entire journey, you will find that Shivaji was defeated, Shivaji was arrested, Shivaji was imprisoned. Nothing like that had happened to Lachit. Lachit was a military general who rose from the ranks, and then he came from a very, very humble beginning. Though he was the son of the most important officer of the time, he began from the bottom, from the lowest available rank of an officer, and then he rose in a span of about 10 years to become the chief of the army. Not only that, he was also the governor for Western Assam.
After all, the Battle of Saraighat was primarily a naval battle which Lachit led and won. The master tactician that Lachit was, he made a makeshift bridge of sorts with boats so as to keep the ammunition supplies from his bases on land flowing to the Ahom soldiers on boats in the river, while the Mughals ran out of firepower after prolonged duels on the mighty Brahmaputra.
With that kind of ailing figure, Lachit himself had jumped into the warfare, and he knew it very well how to utilize the local conditions, and that's how he forced the Mughal vast army to jump into naval warfare. And that war in Brahmaputra was a huge advantageous situation for Lachit. And ultimately, it was his, dexterity, it is his military capability that ultimately Ram Singha and his team was forced to retreat from the scenario.
The Ahom dynasty started in 1228, continued to rule Assam for more than 150 years after the Battle of Saraighat. Had Lachit Borphukan not succeeded in resisting the Mughal assault and forced the invaders out of this far eastern Indian frontier, who knows, the Ahom rule may not have lasted till 1826. Therefore, it is understandable what Lachit Borphukan means to the Assamese people and how he continues to symbolize the spirit of nationalism in this part of the country.
Lachit belongs to the Ahom dynasty. So they had their own strategies, they had their own policies, they had their own culture. So when their word, the meaning of the word Thai, because the Ahoms are also called as Thai Ahom, Thai is freedom or free man. So this word, that's why freedom is very dear to them, and at any cost they don't want any intruders present in their state.
But it would be more than unfair to keep Lachit Borphukan or his legacy confined to Assam or Northeast India. Lachit Borphukan is most certainly a national icon, someone who fought for his country, his motherland, and has succeeded in imbibing nationalist fervor and a spirit of nationalism among the generations of people that followed. This national hero needs to be celebrated across the length and breadth of India. At a time when India is forging ahead on course to become one of the strongest nations in the world militarily, economically and diplomatically, there is need to remember our national heroes who risked or gave their lives for our freedom and independence. One such hero, of course, is Lachit Borphukan, who's saying that my uncle is not more important than my nation, goes to prove his love and loyalty towards his motherland.
When he tried to inspect the fortification and other areas, he found his maternal uncle taking rest, and he was ordered to complete it within one night. When he had met with his maternal uncle and I was asking him about the progress of his work, he found to be very contented. So at that point of time, he actually didn't like this kind of attitude on behalf of his maternal uncle, and he was chopped off. So this was his attitude. And
Hacked to death.
yeah, he was hacked to death.
And a very important statement that Lachit made, a nation first.
Yeah, nation first, my country comes first, then my maternal uncle. It's said in Assamese, Dekhot koi mumai dangor nahoy.
Historical accounts say, at a critical time during the Battle of Saraighat, Lachit Borphukan fell very ill and was advised not to venture to the battlefield. But Lachit realized his absence would break the spirit of his army. He was then quoted as saying, "When my countrymen are suffering from invasion and when my army is fighting and sacrificing its life, how can I think about resting my body due to a mere illness? How can I think about going home to my wife and children when my entire country is in trouble?" This was Lachit Borphukan.
It is the indomitable spirit, I would say, indomitable, courage that Lachit had exemplified. Because at that point of time, he was, he had high fever. In spite of having high fever, he was highly patriotic and he was committed to his cause.
He was very sick, he was very ill actually, almost terminally ill, when he actually rushed to the forefront to defend his country. So these type of actually stories, we can draw inspiration from them. People can draw inspiration from them. Our present generations, new young generations and the generations to come can actually get inspired by this story of valor.
I would strongly urge the government of Assam to make sure this display which is here before us today is taken to the different parts of the country, to different universities, where students assemble, young Indians assemble, for them to know what remarkable contribution Assam and its people have made for the motherland. And that is what is going to motivate, inspire, and encourage young Indians to know more about India.
People should know the vigor, the valor of Lachit Borphukan, who was he was a torch bearer, we can say, and he was the one to fight against the Mughals. Mughals couldn't even invade Assam, and that is the most important thing. And the Assam government is taking such initiative. It is really applaudable, and we all youths should come out and spread the news message of Lachit Borphukan to the whole world.
True, the National Defence Academy at Khadakwasla near Pune has instituted a gold medal in the name of Lachit Borphukan for the overall best army cadet each year. But our countrymen need to know more about this great hero who defended the nation in its easternmost corner. The chapters which follow delve into various aspects of the life of this iconic personality and his relevance in contemporary times, where the spirit of nationalism and patriotic fervor is soaring once again.
"20 kilometers from Guwahati, I am here at Gauripur. Behind me you can see the railway construction is on. This is modern day infrastructural development, and behind that is the Silateng Hills. On my right is the water channel. Now this is 600 years old genius of Lachit Borphukan. You can see this was the most vulnerable part as far as the entry in Guwahati is concerned, and that is why Lachit created this water channel first, one on my right, another on my left, and then this mud fortification encircling the northern part of Guwahati. This is called Gar in Assamese, so that if the cavalry of the Mughals crosses one channel, they can be stopped here. And this channel, both this and that, had spikes to stop the invasion of Mughal army through the cavalry. And there on the mud fortification, there were fortresses that were armed with cannons, and in this channel were bamboo trees, so that the cannonballs of the Mughal army does not reach beyond this point. So first, to stop the invasion; second, to counter the cannon attack of the Mughal army; and third and ultimate, to stop them from entering Guwahati. In 1662, Mir Jumla, the Mughal viceroy in the reign of Aurangzeb, invaded Assam. He advanced from Dhaka up the Brahmaputra to Assam. After overcoming opposition en route, he captured the Ahom capital at Saga. The Ahom king Chandradhwaja Singha fled his capital, like Napoleon retreating from Moscow due to adverse weather. Mir Jumla had to withdraw from Ahom capital, with the army suffering the ravages of monsoon, malaria, dysentery and attacks by Ahom marauders. However, he imposed a humiliating treaty on the Ahoms. retaining Guwahati and Lower Assam under Mughal control. I am inside the Kanai Badasi Boasil, which means the place where Krishna did fishing. This is an ASI protected monument, and these rocks record the defeat of Muslim invaders first by the Kamrup kings and then by the might of Ahom general Lachit Borphukan. Muhammad ibn Bakhtiar Khilji, an intrepid and bold Turco-Afghan leader, after conquering Bihar and Bengal, invaded Assam with an army of 12,000 horsemen in 1206. In Bihar, he had destroyed the world-famous Nalanda University and burnt its library. King Prithu of Kamrup decided to lay an ambush near this site. The central arch of the stone bridge on Barnadi was destroyed.
If you count from 1205-1206 till about 1668-78, there were about 22 foreign invasions from the Afghan Turks and the foreign Mughal rulers, particularly, all of them were Mohammedans. Now the point is, it's not that the kings of Kamrupa, they had won every time. But nevertheless, in 1206, when Bakhtiar Khilji, who was known for his atrocities and wanton destruction on Nalanda University, and he had killed thousands of Buddhists and Hindus, and he, on his way to Tibet and other Southeast Asian region, he came to Assam, Northeast India, but at the hands of one king called Prithu or Vishwasundar. He was such a powerful leader. In series of pitched battles, Bakhtiar Khilji was defeated twice, not just once. And Bakhtiar Khilji, the person who was responsible for wanton destruction, killing, and Nalanda University was more or less destroyed by him. So he was the person who ultimately got defeated with the king Prithu in Kamrupa.
From Guwahati, we shift focus to the national capital as Northeast descends in Delhi to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the Lachit Divas. What is this song about, and how excited were you when you sang before the Prime Minister?
Yeah, this is for the first time we have witnessed him from such a close distance actually. We were on the second row. We were ahead of the respected MLAs, MPs and all the ministers here because we are the performers today. So it was such a big experience for us. It will be a lifetime memory for us. And we sang the song Ahom Amar Rupohi, written and composed by Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. It was about patriotism. It was about Ahom Matri, means Assam Matri.
Let's ask the ladies also, how much preparation did you do to prepare yourself for this grand event?
We were rehearsing from last 1 month day and night, and we were preparing this song. And this is actually not a solo song, this is a chorus one. So we had to prepare very nicely for the coordination and all. But today we were very nervous when we started singing. But धीरे धीरे अच्छा लगा. We were like comfortable कि हाँ, PM Narendra Modi ji is sitting in front of us and we are singing for him. So this was a very nice opportunity.
And how was your experience? Was it the first time you seeing the Prime Minister live?
Yeah, this is the first time, and we actually nervous. We were nervous, and just we want to say joy, Ahom.
भारत का इतिहास सिर्फ गुलामी का इतिहास नहीं है. भारत का इतिहास योद्धाओं का इतिहास है, विजय का इतिहास है. भारत का इतिहास अत्याचारियों के विरुद्ध अभूतपूर्व शौर्य और पराक्रम दिखाने का इतिहास है. भारत का इतिहास जय का है, भारत का इतिहास जंग का है. भारत का इतिहास त्याग का है, तप का है. भारत का इतिहास वीरता का है, बलिदान का है, महान परंपरा का है. लेकिन दुर्भाग्य से हमें आजादी के बाद भी वही इतिहास पढ़ाया जाता रहा जो गुलामी के कालखंड में साजिशन रचा गया था.
हम लोग ने एक ऐप रिलीज किया था कि लासित बोरफुकन का बारे में आपका मनोभाव व्यक्त कीजिए. 40 लाख लोगों ने ये ऐप में लासित बोरफुकन के लिए श्रद्धा सुमन आगे बढ़ाया. बंगाली भाषा में हुआ, बोडो भाषा में हुआ, मिसिंग भाषा में हुआ, अहोमिया भाषा में हुआ. एक प्रकार से पूरा असम को एक एकता का नया बांध से सब समेट लिया और एक बड़ असम जो हमारा कल्पना का था उनका नींव रखा.
For the last 75 years, the great history of our victors and the warriors who defeated the Mughals and the foreign invaders was kept away from the general public and from the school curriculum. It goes to the credit of the great Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji that in his move to decolonize Indian mind and bring back the glorious history, the victorious history of the country, he has planned that the 400th birth anniversary of India's greatest empire, the Ahoms, and the leader Lachit Borphukan be celebrated in the national capital. This is one of the greatest events after independence, that Delhi, which was marauded, plundered and burnt and massacred by the Mughals and by the foreign invaders, is being introduced with the great kings like Ahoms, who had this uninterrupted 6 centuries of empire, the Hindu empire in the northeast, and the leader Lachit Borphukan, the warrior general who defeated the Mughals and stopped their forward moves to the northeast and saved the northeast from the marauding and plundering armies of the Mughal, is being brought to national capital.
I think it is extremely pertinent to understand and study about our great warriors, to know about their role and contribution in the past, in history, as history attempts not only to study the linear past, but to look at the multi-layers, looking at the various facets, and also historians have to attempt to move beyond the Delhi-centric history. Different regions need to be incorporated, the due has to be given, the diversities have to be incorporated, and the leaders of the past, the great warriors of the past, need their due recognition.
Are you saying that he has not been given that due, and why so?
Unfortunately, historians in the past have not explored wide areas, and it is in recent times that history writing is making attempts to move beyond the boundaries and attempts are being made to incorporate diversities, to incorporate various layers, to incorporate various facets of history for a deeper understanding of the past. Whenever we have to move ahead, whenever we are faced with a crisis, we always turn to history. We also always substantiate with the historical writings. So in order to understand the culture of the Northeast, the history of the Northeast, to provide it with that kind of platform, I think the way in which the government initiatives are also being made to incorporate within the national curriculum.
Death is preferable to a life of subordination to foreigners. Battle of Sarai Ghat, as truly remarked by the great Assamese historian Dr. S.K. Bhuiya, is the Trafalgar of Assam. It is the undying legacy of the unflinching bravery and an unalloyed patriotism of Assamese.